Who knows the T in GPT? You know, you said chat GPT. What's the T? Type in the chat. What's the T? That was what was invented in 2017. The T. Type it in the chat. What's T? T in GPT. Who knows the meaning of GPT? Yes, Ruth, Transformers. So Transformers was invented in 2017. And the rest is history because GPT is generative. You're generating from zero. Pre-trained. Pre-training means you're training the system. You're pre-training it, which is when they say, oh, GPT-5 is out. They pre-trained it. So it will now start generating stuff for you. And the technology they use for that is transformers. So this is very transformational. This is AI working, repeating or completing the next word like you were doing. But this time around, you've given it the entire knowledge of the world. So think about an AI. The whole knowledge of the world is in his head. And it can connect the dots in all sorts of marvelous ways. When you ask it questions, it understands the question based on the context of it understanding the whole world. But the main thing it understands is what I have in the chat. I don't know if I'm still sharing my screen. Yeah. So what I have in the chat is, or in the screen, is AI has cracked one thing. If you want to know why it's so big, it's because it has cracked language. AI has cracked language. That is why it is amazing. And because it has cracked language, it has read every single thing you as human beings have ever brought to this earth and understands it just like you are understanding me. I'm speaking English and you understand what I'm saying. AI now has that understanding. What does that mean? It means that there is a new programming language in town. You know, before you say, oh, you want to learn Python, you want to learn this, you want to learn that. Well, there's a new programming language in town. And do you know what it's called? It's called English. English is your new programming language, English. Since AI has cracked language, then that means it has cracked English. We can speak English to this thing and it understands what it is we're saying. So we're going to speak English a bit to AI. Let's have a chat with AI and see what's going on. Let me share my screen. Oh, well, see, I can't share my screen. That's the problem. I don't know why. Let me attempt to share my screen again. Okay, or tell me first, do you see? No, you can't because I'm not sharing my screen. So let's try and share. Let me stop sharing. Let's share my screen because when I'm trying to share, all I see is applications, not screens, right? I want to share my screen. Let me see again. Screen share. It shows screens, but it's not showing the screen. So anyway, let me share application window. Where is screen window? Maybe if I log on and log out, it will work, but I'll just leave it for now. So I'm going to share, I'll change my screen to this application window. Can you see Gemini, everybody? Someone should say yes or no. Can you see Gemini? Okay, let me go to the chat, see if people are chatting with me. Chat is not coming up. Come up, chat.
Yes,
Chat.
we can.
Good. Thank you very much, Oluwatobiloba. All right, so let me see if let's just see if this works, okay? Let's put up the chat and let's see if we can share audio. Hi, AI, can you hear me? Just want to try something out. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Let me know if there's anything else you need.
Okay, just hold on. I'm just going to see if the audience can hear you too, okay? So can you guys hear AI? Type in the chat if you could hear us. Say something. Introduce yourself, first of all. AI, introduce yourself.
Of course. Hello, everyone. I'm AI here. You can think of me as your friendly digital assistant, ready to jump in and help out however I can. So if you can hear me, it's great to meet you all.
All right, great. So right now we're talking to mostly students, CFA not charter holders, CFA students. CFA, I'm sure you know what CFA is, Chartered Financial Analyst, and just a few finance professionals as well. And so the students are here to kind of learn how to do research. So they're doing they have a research challenge. And at the end of the day, they want to be able to do solid research, be able to submit their research report and hopefully win the challenge, right? So they're from various universities. And what I'm here to do is basically kind of guide them on how to use AI for research. So we're going to do that together, okay?
Absolutely. That sounds like a great plan. So, hello to all the students out there. We'll dive into some research tips together and hopefully help you all get really comfortable using Icon for that challenge. Let's make sure you come out on top.
So what's CFA? Tell me about CFA. Give me small history, like 30 seconds history about CFA.
Sure. So the CFA is the Chartered Financial Analyst designation. It's a globally recognized credential for finance and investment professionals. Basically, it's like a gold standard in the investment world. The CFA program started back in the 1960s and it's managed by the CFA Institute. To earn the charter, you have to pass a series of pretty challenging exams covering topics like ethics, investment analysis, portfolio management, and so on. So it's definitely a big deal in the finance field.
Okay, let's see if let's test your current knowledge. Who is the president of CFA Nigeria? Let me see. Do you know the current president of CFA Nigeria? Who is it?
Sure. Right now, the president of CFA Nigeria is Razak Ahmed. So that's the name you'd be looking for.
Cool. So you logged online. So tell me how you work. So I could hear something. So obviously you went online, use RAG, right? You use RAG and you now went online, checked, and then came back. Is that what you did?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Basically, when you ask me something that needs up-to-date info, I can do a quick online check to find the latest details. So in this case, I just did a little search for who the current CFA Nigeria president is, and that's how I got the answer. So, yeah, that's how it works behind the
All right,
scenes.
cool. I'll come back to you, but let me just go through some slides. First of all, do you know the CRISP framework? I developed the CRISP framework. I'm sure I shared it with you. Do you know the CRISP framework? I'm going to share it with the audience.
Absolutely. I remember the CRISP framework well. It's that neat method you use for prompt engineering and guiding AI
All right, cool.
interactions. So
Okay,
for
okay.
everyone
No,
listening, CRISP
no, no,
stands.
no, no. I didn't say you should tell them what CRISP. I'll tell them what CRISP stands for. So just pause. I'll come back to you, okay?
You got it. I'll pause right here and let you take it away.
Thank,
Just let me know when you need.
thank you, thank you.
You're very welcome. Whenever you're ready to jump back in, just let me know.
Okay, great stuff. So now pause the guy. I've paused the AI. So her name is Rex. I trained her and stuff. So when I say I trained her, I'll explain to you. And I'm going to explain to you how you can train yours and how you can do research. So the first thing we're going to do is going to go through an engineering framework called prompt engineering. I'm going to just share. Now I have to kind of share my screen back. Okay, so just bear with me. That's why I just wanted to share a screen. So much easier. But anyway, let's work with what we have. All right. So let me go to share my screen again. I'll come back to AI and have a chat. Let's see. All right. Okay, I think I can share my application. All right, tell me if you can see what you can see. Let me see. Let me just check what you can see. What you should be able to see is, yeah. So I have various models. What I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share two models with you. I don't know how much time we have. So the first one I'll share with you is called the CRISP Prompt Engineering Framework. All right. So, oops, let's see if that works. Yeah, it works. So the CRISP Prompt Engineering Framework. Let me go to the chat. I'm going to use the chat to be sure I'm talking to everybody. Good. So what AI did I use? So the AI I used is what AI I use ChatGPT. I've been using ChatGPT for a while, the paid service. You can talk to AI just the way I talk to AI, right? But one important thing you need to understand if you want to use AI well is treat AI like a colleague, that smart colleague that knows everything. And you know that smart guy or that smart lady that knows everything. Sometimes you need to kind of tell the person to pipe down a little bit and focus on what it is that's important so that you can get the best out of that smart guy because the AI is super smart in everything. And so one important thing to learn, how do you get AI to focus on the key thing that you want? So if you're doing research, that is a lot of focus. How do you get AI to focus on specific things out of your research that you're doing so that AI becomes your research assistant? And AI is an excellent research assistant. But as you know, you, the student, you need to know this stuff. One thing you should never do is abdicate to AI, because a lot of you will do that. You say, hey, please, I have this research stuff I'm doing. Here, go and do it. It will now give you one big report. And then you submit. You don't know that report. When you go and present that, you can't even present that report. And so when you're doing your research and you're going to present to the CFA panelists, right? So for your research, and you don't know it deeply because you just told AI to do it for you, you're going to fail, and it's just going to be really bad. AI is there to assist you. AI is not going to, you're not going to learn by copy and paste. Yeah, you need to know this stuff. So I'm going to talk to you about how you make AI teach you. Yeah, AI can do some research and stuff, but you also have to go and check because AI also lies. You have to understand that. AI is one of the best liars in the world. My goodness. When AI starts lying to you and you don't know it's lying, you just, in fact, it can be so funny. So you need to become the expert, okay? You are the expert. AI is your co-pilot. So how do you become the expert? If you're not an expert already, well, you can use AI to learn. So how do you use AI as a learning tool? I'll talk to you about that, right? But the first thing is, how do you ask questions? How do you ask AI questions? So let's talk a little bit about prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is how you ask questions. That's what prompt engineering is prompt is question. Engineering is, okay, how do you engineer this question in a way that allows whoever you're asking to give you a correct or good answer? So if you ask someone something, so ask somebody to help you with something, you didn't explain clearly to that person what you want. The person comes back with something terrible. You have just wasted your time and their time. It's like, this is not what I asked you for, blah, 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 blah. But it's your fault. You didn't ask the question clearly, or you didn't ask the person to give you reinforcing answers or to kind of connect back to you. First of all, wait a minute, I just realized something. Because I put AI on pause, it is actually eating my credits. Let me just stop it from talking. Stop talking. Stop. Good. Just so you know. So every single time you're using AI like that, it's actually consuming content. It's consuming content, and then you can kind of overshoot your credit points, credit hours. All right. Anyway, let's move on. So I told you about AI already being, because it's cracked language, right? AI has cracked language. That's a significant thing. So that means your new programming language is English. So you just need to know how to speak English clearly to AI, very, very clearly, and then AI gives you what you need. So regardless of what you're doing, whether it's research, whether you're doing writing some report in your organization, whether you have lots of data and you want to do analytics on your data, you want to pull out pattern recognition from your data, whatever it is, you need to be able to learn how to prompt. Okay? So this is the prompt engineering framework. Learn how to ask questions this way, then you do excellent research. It's called CRISP. C stands for context. Context. So please write this down, because I don't know if there is potential possibility, I'm going to put you guys into breakout rooms and you're going to discuss this prompt engineering for 5 minutes in your groups, and then come up with some interesting ideas that you're going to put in the chat, okay? So listen to this well. So I want you to go and think about, how am I going to implement this thing I just learned, all right? So the first thing is your context. Context is the most important thing. Why? You have to provide clear context to guide the AI's response. Give clear background details, scope, and assumptions. Very important. Context, very important, right? Everything about what we do is contextual. So context, that's C. Your R is role. When you've given detailed context, you need to give AI a role. You need to tell AI, hey, AI, you are a top research analyst for equities in the FMCG space. You've given one specific role. You're one of the best research analysts for research analysts for equities in the FMCG space. You understand this, you understand that, you understand this, you understand that, your best practices of this, CFA this, CFA that. You prompt it, give it a role. So this is your role. So you're going to act as that top research analyst for FMCG. Okay? So role, responsibilities, relevance, what does it? Give AI a clear persona, expertise level, and responsibilities, right? Or you could even say, yeah, you're a terrible research analyst, right? And sometimes you write reports and put all sorts of falsified information. Let AI now give you a terrible report. You, the students, should be able to look at that report and see how terrible it is. So how do you review terrible reports? You could get AI to be that terrible report. You could get AI to be that expert. You get AI to be your supervisor. You could get AI to be you while you are the person reviewing. All sorts of stuff. That's called role play. It's a technique for using AI. I'll talk about that another time. So C, context. R, role. I is instructions. You then need to kind of be very clear in the instructions you're giving AI, right? How do you want AI to work? What is the system? What are the system instructions? What are the constraints? What are the guidelines? You need to put that very clearly in instructions, right? One of the key instructions I always like you to add to instructions is this. No matter what you tell AI to do, tell it, AI, I do not want you to just answer questions that you are not 100% sure of. Instead, ask me clarifying questions. That's an instruction. You're telling AI, ask me clarifying questions, right? So that's part of the instructions. Constraints could be when you're giving me information and the information can better be shown on a table, make sure to put it on a table. That's the instructions. That's what I call an output schema. How do you want it to give you an output? Please always try to limit your points to only three bullet points, nothing more. Three most important bullet points. That's part of your instructions, right? All of this is in your prompting instructions. You can give 5 pages of instructions to AI, not AI. I want to do research on, I don't know, Dangote cement. That's not a good enough prompt. You need to be very detailed. Context, role, instructions, and let me go to the next one. And specifications is the next. So specifications is a bit like instructions, but it's more deep. This is especially if you're in an organization and you have, let's say, standard operating procedure, SOPs, you have maybe your user manual, employee manual, you have some specifications, right? Or some very clear specifications of how your output should look like, the structure and everything. So those SLAs, those SOPs in your organization, you need to bring them on board, upload them to AI. If there are documents, upload those documents to AI as part of your prompt, right? Lastly, you need to practice. Practice is the key. You need to practice to be able to evaluate. So to be able to kind of evaluate how good you're doing and how you're learning to use AI. Yeah, practice. Very, very important. So this is CRISP: context, role, instruction, specifications, and practice. So type in the chat. Let's do some small demo. What would you like to do? What are you currently working on that's pretty deep that you're currently working on that you would like AI to kind of help you with, right? So what are you currently working on? Give me a very descriptive statement of what you're working on, and let me see if I can use that as my demo. Now, if you like what somebody has typed, instead of typing yours, just do a thumbs up. Put an emoji on the person's comment. What are you currently working on? Anything at all you're currently working on, and let's use that as our demo with AI, right? A demo of CRISP. Type in the chat. I'll wait for you. Mm. I didn't know this is off. Okay. I don't even know how people are hearing me when this is already off. So how can you still hear me? You know, my devices are off. Can you hear me? What are you hearing? How are you still hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
You can hear me, right? Oh, my luck, I guess. My device is off, so I guess I'm just using my system. So let me see how the market behaves just before a major crash. I like whoever is asking that. You want to be able to invest, right? So AI, as I said, is looking at all the data out there, and then all the data you already have out there, and it's just faster than you in analyzing that data. So that's what AI is doing currently. All the data out there is going to now use to answer the question. So it doesn't know the future, all right? So, but let's see. We'll talk with AI about that. Write an article on impact of financial deepening and financial inclusion on Nigeria's economy. Okay. Currently working on a profitability model for a building, single land, 2 attached buildings, 28 floors residential. Can people, if you like what someone has said, put a thumbs up to that person's own so that I know what people like so we can use it. So you need to kind of thumbs up somebody's own. Okay. All right. Okay. I can see criticism on the tax reform bill is something that, yes, in AI, you're looking at for AI. Okay. Criticism of tax reform bill has four votes, 5 votes. How to record sales and rights of use in investment, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I'm going to take criticism. I'm going to kind of expand on that criticism of the tax reform bill, right? I won't say criticism, but let's see. So let me see if I can stop sharing and then share. I'm really interested in knowing why I can't share screens. Strange. Anyway, somebody want to say something? Go ahead. I need a time check, by the way, because I don't know, we started late. Can someone give me a time check? How much time do we have left? Who is going to give me a time check? On mute, tell me how much time I have. How many minutes do I still have to continue?
Hi, David. So the session was to last for 90 minutes, started at 12. So we have about 33 minutes with Q&A inclusive.
Q&A inclusive. So that means I have like 10
Yeah.
minutes. Although I've
Will
been
that
asking
be enough
questions.
time for you?
I can continue till tomorrow. I mean, if you want to, if everybody stay here till tomorrow, it's fine. Don't worry, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Okay, let's
Yeah,
see.
so basically we can run till 1:30.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll give for questions. Let me share my screen so that we can go back to AI. All right, so where are we? Share. So I hope you can now see the AI we're talking to, the past, right? You should be able to see that. Okay, nope. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so this was the AI I was speaking to. So everything I was speaking to the AI, it's transcribed. You can see all the transcript of all our conversations, right? So now I want it to use CRISP. So I'm going to basically use CRISP, all right? So I'm going to use CRISP. CRISP. And the P bit, well, P is for me to practice. So the context, right? The context. What's the context? Now, I'm typing. I should have just talked. Talking is far more easier than typing, right? Maybe I should just talk to the thing. I think because I think typing will take my time. But well, yeah, let me talk. Let me just dictate it. So I can dictate. I can actually click this to dictate. I don't need to speak to AI directly, but I can dictate. Okay, so right now I want to work with AI on something, right? So the context is this, right? Nigeria has gone through some very detailed reforms, or reforms on tax reforms. And recently, we've kind of passed the Tax Reform Act. There's a new act on tax reforms. This is going to take effect on 1st of January, 2026. Now, so this tax reform, I would like you to act as a top tax expert, top fiscal expert, economist, and expert around development of countries, right? So if there's any expert like that, that's what your role is. You're expert on developing, especially developing countries, and tax experts. And I want you to critique this tax reform bill that is going to come out and give us a very detailed understanding of what are the things that may not work in the Nigerian context, right? So that's your role, and that's kind of part of the instructions. Now, how I want you to do this is kind of break it down briefly. Don't go too deep. Break it down briefly, but please, if you don't understand certain things, ask me clarifying questions as much as you can. The specifications, I don't have time to upload any specifications right now, but I think it's been nice for you to go and download the tax reform bill, the bill itself, the actual act, to have that download and go and read extensively about everything around that tax reform. All right. So anyway, if you hopefully understand this, let me know. But before you do anything, just summarize everything I've said in a prompt. And that prompt, I want you to break it down into first, context. What's the context I just gave you? Then R is role. Describe what role you are playing in this. Then summarize the instructions and then the specifications, okay? So do that, and then once you do that and I agree that that's correct, then we can move forward. Okay, So guys, I gave a very long-winded instruction to the AI. So let's see. So typically what you do is you type all of this, right? You break it down and it can be very detailed, right? So let's see what the AI, I don't know how well the AI typed to do this stuff. Okay, so see, great, David. Here's a summarized script-style prompts based on everything you've just said. Context: Nigeria has recently passed a new Tax Reform Act, which is scheduled to take effect on January 1, 2026. The reform is part of the broader effort to modernize and improve the country's fiscal framework. However, given Nigeria's complex socioeconomic landscape, structure, blah, blah, and administration, there is a need to critically assess whether the provisions of the Act are well suited for effective implementation and impact in the Nigerian context. Okay, role. I am to act as a top expert across the following domains: taxation, fiscal policy, economic development, public sector reform, and institutional development and governance. Very good. My job is to critique the Tax Reform Act with a strong understanding of what works and what doesn't, right? Instructions: read and understand the Tax Reform Act. Break down the analysis in brief but in insightful manner. Highlight what may not work in the Nigerian context. Approach this critically and contextually. If anything is unclear or missing, I should ask clarifying questions. Very good, AI. Well done. Do not go too deep initially. Keep the first phase structured but concise. You have not uploaded the act, so I should retrieve it. Good. Now, specifications. The exact name of the legislation is not provided, but it is referred to as the Tax Reform Act, taking effect on January, blah, blah, blah. So no official file document is uploaded. So, yeah. The final deliverable is critical analysis, blah, 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 blah. Right. Please confirm this script prompt is accurate. If it is, I'll go ahead and start by locating and analyzing the Tax Reform Act. Okay, comments before I go on. I've done a lot of talks. This is how you work with AI, right? You can go deep, deep, deep into this research, into this. If you go online, you hear about prompt engineering. You also hear about context engineering. So that context at the beginning, they're going deeper into that context to be able to get the best out of AI. Comments before I continue. So I can actually tell AI to continue as well. So you comment before I continue. AI is going to do its work. I want you to ask questions. Ask questions while AI does it. We'll see what AI did. Questions. Any questions? Do you have questions on this? Clifford, they're here till tomorrow like me. Okay, that's fine. Any questions, guys? You can type in the chat if you want, or mute. I don't know if you have control to mute. So let's have a look at what AI has done so far. The next step, I'll locate the review, blah, blah, blah. Okay, before I dive in, see, it's asking me clarifying questions. Can you see how good it's instructing? Yeah, so it's asking me clarifying questions. Do you want the critique to cover both individuals and companies, personal income tax, corporate income tax, or focus primarily on corporates? So I'm asking you guys to ask the question. Answer. So you are all answering this question together, right? See, clarifying question 1. Answer in the chat, please. AI is asking you, do you want a critique of individuals or corporates, or you want both individual and corporates? Type in the chat. What's your answer? Type in the chat. Number 1, both, critique of individual and corporate, both. Okay. You like your whole Oliver Twist people. They want everything. Okay. So, number 1, both. Okay. What's the number 2 question? What level of depth are you comfortable with for this first phase? Top 5 major risk issues or a broader list of 10? Let me see, 10. 10. Please be as contextual as possible, considering where we are coming from as a country. All right, let's see. See my spelling mistake, it doesn't matter, I should know it's all right. So we send it out and let it do its work. Now, when you're using AI, right, it's no point using AI when you don't already have some domain knowledge. So using AI to learn is a very important thing, which I'll tell you next. But then you can do a lot of back and forth with AI. You can spend hours with AI. doing some solid research, learning yourself, confirming its own whatever it's telling you. And for research, it's important you tell AI to give you references with links. References, if it's books it's getting from, it should tell you where in the book it got it from, right? So that's how you deeply do research, because you need to verify everything this thing says. Because as I said before, sometimes this thing, what? Lies. Let's be careful. Okay. Rex, thank you. So it's Rex is his name. Anyway, the scope is clear. Blah, blah, blah. Before I begin, okay, see, I first to do clarifying questions. Now it's asking me so many clarifying questions, but it's good. Okay. Would you like the critique to prioritize certain sectors, oil and gas sector, blah, 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 or treat all sectors equally? Should the discussion include state and local government tax administration implications and blah, blah, blah? Is the brief analysis acceptable at 200 or 400 words, or would you prefer shorter bullets? Shorter bullets for sure. Given shorter bullets, and focus on the, why the perhaps on the most important sectors was critical sectors. And then what? Should I discuss include state and local government? State, local government, and federal, given Nigeria's federal structure, or remain focused mainly at the federal level? Please, you guys answer. Should we do federal level or state and local government? Type in the chat. Federal or state and local government? Which one? You know, it's you guys that made me do this example, so you need to work. Federal, state, or local government. Don't tell me all. Aha, good. Federal. I'll focus on federal. On federal. Thank you. All right. So, important thing you must take away. Ask me clarifying questions. Super important. Here are 10 critical points, blah, blah, blah. So oil sector. Okay. I don't like this arrangement. One prompt I should have given it is to make sure it uses tables as much as it can. Please use tables as much as you can for better clarity. Okay, so I wanted to do it in tables. I'm not keen on that. So good, you can see it's now getting clear. Reform area sector, what's the act introduced, contextual critique, associated risk. So so here is saying, so this is oil and gas. So what the act introduced, royalty, updates, this and this, contextual critique, implementation, hurdles due to weak regulatory credibility and priority inconsistency, investment delays or avoidance or skepticism, blah, blah, blah. Now, each and every one of this, you can go further and ask questions and get stuff. And then you can take this AI data from here and take it to another AI to do a presentation, right? So for example, I can take this, copy this, I can go to another AI. Let me say, I want to create a flow, right? A flow of stuff. I know you should know other AIs, but one important thing you should understand is the AI I'm using right now, that is a frontier model. So this ChatGPT, these are like infrastructure. ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, which other big one? You have Anthropic. All of those are, how we call them, you basically, they are the infrastructure of the AI field. So if you have power generating plants, they're producing power, you have all these power generating plants, then you have your distribution, then you have your transmission, right? So there's infrastructure. AI has an infrastructure. And these are frontier models. We call them frontier models. You can call them AI infrastructure. You can call them LLMs, large language models. They all mean the same thing. And then what happens is these other smaller companies, these smaller AIs, like the one I want to use Napkin AI. So this Napkin AI, for example, what it does is it takes just one specific thing, one specific task that we do as human beings, and then blows it up and does it extremely well with AI. So it's just taking one task, and the back end of this is your infrastructure. The back end of all the AI is the infrastructure, the LLMs, the frontier models, which are your ChatGPT, your Gemini, your Anthropic, your Claude. Those are the infrastructure behind. So once they have that infrastructure behind, they're now using it for one narrow thing. For you, you're using it for a narrow thing called research. And what I've told you how to do that is to use the CRISP framework, go through it in detail, ask the questions using that framework, and then now you've basically minimized AI to that key thing you want to do. All right, so these ones have made a business out of it, right? And let me log into my own account and let's use Napkin AI to see how we can make this look professional. Don't you remember me? What's up? Should know me. What am I signing in with? Okay, I think I've done some research on it. So what does this do? It's just going to basically convert, it's going to convert my new, so I was doing some XBRL stuff. And yeah, so no, let me do a new one with blank napkin. So I copied that stuff from ChatGPT. Let me paste it here. So if I paste it here, then whatever this text is, I'm going to ask it to kind of do an analysis. It's going to analyze it and kind of create some visuals for me for my presentation. All right, so that's what this different AI does, right? So you can see what visual it created. I can take this visual and take it to PowerPoint and do that. Now I can do this in PowerPoint as well. I can go to PowerPoint, have AI in PowerPoint using Copilot, and that is how the AI ecosystem works. You have your infrastructure AI, which is your ChatGPT and the rest, which you can use directly. You can go directly to the power plant. You know, if you're a power plant, you shouldn't be able to go directly to the power plant, right? The power plant has everything and it's all there. But if you know how to prompt it well, if you know prompt engineering, you know context engineering, you're able to get very specific things out of it, right? So the question for you then is, do you know what research is? Do you know how to do research? In fact, you can go to AI and learn how to do that research as well. So, I mean, I could go to AI, let me go to a different AI this time. And then, okay, this is Claude. Use memory is fine. So this is Claude. And I can decide, okay, if I click on this plus sign, there are other tools available to you. Maybe there's some stuff on Google Drive and stuff. If you know how to do research, then the research steps is what you go through here. If you don't know how to do research, then one thing you could do is learn. So this is the reports. By the way, I can just download this as a PDF if you want and send it to you guys, but you can do your same prompts yourself. So if I click on, let me say I'm going to do a new prompt here. And what I want to do is learn how to do research. I can come here and choose, if I scroll down, there are different kind of additional things you could use here for deep research, create an image, agents mode, add resources. Let me go to more. Under more, you see study and learn. If I click on study and learn, this AI now converts to a tutor that can kind of teach you how to do research, right? Let me say, explain a great methodology, or should I say, help me learn how to do research. Help me learn how to do research properly. I need to research someone. I need to conduct some deep financial research for a project. All right. So now I'm using the learn bit of AI and the study bit of AI. So it will not give me answers the way it was giving me before. It is basically going to start teaching me, in a sense, back and forth with me so that I can learn. So remember, I could also get a tool, just like this other tool I got here, this tool for doing a presentation. Could be another AI tool out there that does study AI, teach you how to study and stuff. It is simply, it has used the LLM, the infrastructure, and fine-tuned it for studying. So you can either go buy that, or you can learn prompting, learn context engineering, and come and do it yourself in the infrastructure. All right. So that is basically it about AI. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff here. This is going to ask me all sorts of clarifying questions and stuff, but that's how to use AI. And again, if you don't know research, you could learn research by using the study feature of AI. All right. So there's a lot for me to cover. There's also for me to talk about, but I want to pause here and hear from you guys. Okay. Ask your questions, ask away. But artificial intelligence is an amazing, amazing, amazing tool. So let me get back to my slides. I'll just share one or two things briefly with you before I get back to questions. All right. So I've taught you how to use the fishing rod. I'm not giving you fish. Yeah, you should learn learn how to fish, right? So well, let me pause here. Ask questions. Do you know what? I'll just pause here. Ask questions. Ask questions. Questions, questions, questions. Any questions on artificial intelligence, how I should use it, how I should use prompt engineering? Okay, it's all very quiet. I don't know if any of the organizers can.
There are questions in the chat.
Okay. Okay, so people can't speak, right? Is that it?
You can unmute them to speak if you want them to.
Yeah, so
You can just put your heads up. Just put your
Mute.
heads up if you want to speak.
Someone can unmute and speak, all right? Okay, so let me look at the chat. Right. Okay, does the response depend on the version of AI you are using? When you say a response, well, first of all, I'm teaching you how to ask the question using CRISP. So you ask CRISP, and the response is not even the same version. If you ask it tomorrow, it will give you a different answer. The whole idea of AI is this is generative. Generative means it's generative, it's generating from zero. Pre-trained, it has been pre-trained. So technically, it should generate something similar, but not always exactly the same thing it generates because of the context in which you're asking it is always going to be different, right? And so that's why it's generative. Is there a framework for context engineering? There are all sorts of frameworks. And then the end of the day, what is context engineering? We're trying to see how we can kind of contextualize things to AI in a very detailed way so that it gives us better answers, right? So when I asked AI a question about CFA Nigeria, it used a different context. It took the context that, oh, this is the latest information that this person needs. So it used RAG. RAG is just augmented generation. It's augmenting its generation of data by going to the internet, right? So it goes to the internet to augment what it has already been pre-trained for, all right? So I mean, you can go online, do some research on context engineering to see a lot more of that. Do you have more examples of narrow AI tools? There are thousands. There are so many. But what I can advise you to do is use Copilot. Copilot in itself is a lot of tools into one. But I mean, if you Google AI tools, you see a visual, click on the visual to see which ones are useful. So let me throw that question back to everybody. Which ones have you used that has been so useful? Type in the chat. AI tools that you've used that are very useful. Not frontier models. Frontier models are your ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. Those are frontier LLMs. Tell me some of those task-based tools in AI that you've used that are very useful. Type in the chat. Type in the chat. Let's everyone see it. Type in the chat. You have Gamma. Gamma for PowerPoints. Yes, I've used Gamma as well. Very, very good tool. Although I don't like certain things about it, but fine. So please, so tell us what the tool does, just to help other people out. Type the name of the AI tool and put a dash and type what it does. So please, let's do that in the chat so others can gain from it. Right. Another question is, so keep that coming while I go through the questions. Do you have more examples? Okay, yeah, you said that. What LLM can be trusted for data analysis and visualization, and how best to prompt that? Okay, how best to prompt is exactly the same way. CRISP. For data analysis and reconciliation, the only thing is when you're doing data analysis, obviously, you know you're going to provide the data, right? So what I can advise you do first is go to Excel. So let me see if I can share my screen. You go to Excel and actually use the AI in Excel, all right? So let me share my screen and share an Excel, a blank Excel spreadsheet. So let's assume you have some research and stuff on Excel. I don't know which Excel I'm sharing. Yeah, so let me get some data. Let me see where I get data from. Let's do some random data. So I'm just generating some random data, right? This should be equal to this minus this, and then this should be equals to, let me just do a normal distribution or something. Should I do a normal distribution or X, the mean division? I don't know, I don't have that data. I'm just leaving, let's say, around between. Yeah, let's take this 2024. So I'm generating data that I'm going to now ask AI to analyze it. Yeah. So this is my data generated. Right, so there are various ways you could use AI here with your data. You could either go straight to Copilot here. If you're in Excel, you go to Home, you see there's a Copilot button here, and you could chat with it directly. You could do a chat with Copilot and ask it to analyze the data. So analyze this data, this sheet or something, right? So let's see what it does. But well, yeah, so that's one. Okay, so upload the sheet. So it's wanting me to upload. It's not smart enough to see that there's a data here. But I could also ask the same question. I could say equals to Copilot. So there's a function in Excel called Copilot. This is your actual prompt engineering question, prompt question inside Excel. So I could say, give a good summary analysis of this data, something. And then I come in here and analyze and highlight all the sales or something. I highlight this whole data. And then say, okay, now this is going to be a lot of data. It's going to take up a lot of space. So it's going to, okay, what did I do? Okay, so it's just telling me a summary. It's saying, let me show you what it's saying. It's giving me a summary. It's saying this data analyzes expenses between this and the sales values fluctuate between 121 to 404,009. Expenses also blah, 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 blah. I don't want this. I want it in a nice, simple chart or something, right? Can't it do that? Analyze in this data in a table. All right, let's see if that will work. All right. So now look at it. So it has basically summarized it. What's it telling me? Total sales 176, expenses. Because I'm using random numbers. It's not really smart. Doesn't look good. But at the end of the day, that's what you could do. You could do a lot of this directly in Excel. You could do that in Copilot. I could take this. I could save this file, take it to the AI, upload it to the AI, ask it to do its analysis. What I advise you do is use Claude, use Gemini, use ChatGPT, and just compare all of them and see which ones make sense to you. Okay, that's the answer I'll give you. We have only 6 minutes left. Let me see if there are more questions. How can you determine if AI is giving you the correct response if you know little about the topic? Very good question, Fisa. You need to be a domain expert, not 100% domain expert. So you need AI. You need to kind of be intelligent and find ways to trap errors using AI. You don't know this thing, you're using AI. Let me give you an example. I went to do a talk in Abu Dhabi. I went to do a talk in Abu Dhabi, and I wanted the AI to on my talk, I wanted it to be in Arabic. So I asked the AI, please translate this English, whatever, to Arabic. It translates to Arabic. I don't know Arabic. So what did I do? I was smart, right? So I said, translate it back to English. Translate to Arabic, translate it back to English. Then I said, compare this English to that English. I can see it was different. I said, look, this is different. That means you didn't translate it properly to Arabic. Translate back to Arabic. Translate to English. Translate to Arabic. Translate to English. By the time we went through like 5 iterations, it was pretty clean. The meaning, you could understand the meaning. And then I took the Arabic, the final Arabic, put it up. And when I did my presentation, I put some Arabic stuff there and I asked them, I said, does this clearly state in Arabic what I was trying to mention? They said it was excellent, 100%, right? So that's one technique. So you need to use smart techniques. But the best thing is also ask it for references and then go and cross-check those references. Who are the best in the world in this topic? You do your own research as well. So using AI for research doesn't mean you don't do research. You need to do research. And you need to know who are the best in this, where are the blog posts, and then guide your AI to those sources. And that's what it should do. That's what it should do its work. Is there a way to validate? Okay, I've answered that question. Great. Cursor AI Replit is an online platform that lets you write, run, and share code. Okay. So you're giving me examples. Any other questions? I don't know if Microsoft Copilot is regarded a frontier model. No, Microsoft uses ChatGPT. Where do you think ChatGPT got all their money from? OpenAI. Microsoft funds OpenAI. They've given it billions and billions and billions of dollars to run all the experiments and build the models. So technically, Microsoft is a major shareholder to OpenAI. They have a special arrangement. So Copilot is ChatGPT in a refined form. Let me give you a difference. Another bigger difference is this. When you're in an organization, when you're using AI, if you're using ChatGPT, this is what's happening. Take your organization as a house. This house contains your organization's data, right? This is a closed house. Typically, that house is usually a Microsoft house or a Google house. They're using Google software, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, or Docs or whatever. So let's assume you're using a Microsoft house. You're using the data there. Then you want to do some stuff with AI. You take data out of your house. You go to ChatGPT. You put data. You go to Claude. You ask it. It gives you an answer. You carry it back into your house. That transportation between your house and ChatGPT and Claude and back to your house is a risk. So there's a risk around you sending out data, information, and bringing them back. That's a risk. And there are lots of risk factors in AI. So what Microsoft has done is Microsoft has basically said, do you know what? We are inside your nice, secure house. We're going to bring AI into your house. The AI will look through your house, understand your house fully, and then you can ask the AI questions directly inside your house that is secure. That is Copilot, all right? It's inside your house, it's fully secure. So many companies will need to do a strategy around how they use AI. I have lots of strategic frameworks and stuff I use, but that's the difference, okay? Your house with AI inside your house, you can say that's Copilot. If you're a Google shop, there's Gemini inside your house, but there's also Gemini outside, and there's Copilot, there's ChatGPT outside, there is Claude outside your house. So you need to be sure as to what kind of data you're sharing with AI, all right? All right, please, we get the video after the session? I think so. Yeah, Gloria says yes. Thank you, Gloria. How are you doing, Gloria? Nice to see you, or digitally see you. So I think time is up, guys. I hope you enjoyed that session. I hope you have a general understanding of AI, a better understanding of AI. If you want to see me more, where I am is really, I just spend a lot of my time trying to develop analysts like yourselves. And we do a lot of artificial intelligence, right? We do a lot of artificial intelligence, but we also do a lot of financial modeling. There's a financial modeling academy. There's an Africa scholarship. Take advantage of it. Africa scholarship, where you can get a discount and get a certification in financial modeling. Go check out Financial Modeling Academy if you're interested. But I hope you enjoyed this session. You can reach out to me on all social media. Check me out on LinkedIn as well, D Brown Analysts. Ask your questions there. And most importantly, please don't abdicate to AI. Don't say, hey, AI, do all my work. Delegate to AI and try and learn and become an expert yourself. Thank you very much, everybody. Gloria, over to you.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you very much. It was really interesting listening, and I personally was learning from the session and taking notes and just following as kept going. I wish we could have extended till like 2 o'clock, but yeah, we know that some of our Muslim students, they have to go for prayers and all, so we just had to end it around this time. So thank you so much for taking us through this session. We did record and also privately streamed it to our YouTube channel. So we have a recording link that we can share with the students. So this is just going to all the students that will definitely share a link to this session recording with every one of you. Just keep an eye on your email. You know how we communicate with you. Thank you so much. And also look out for, we did announce the subject company for this year's research challenge, which is Zenith Bank. I hope you got our email. We sent that yesterday. If you did not receive it, please check your inbox, check your spam or your promotions folder. Just can ensure that you have all of the details, because we did send other information as well. Once we confirm a date for the subject company call, we'll send an information out to all teams to let you know when, time, and the Zoom link we'll use for that session. So in the meantime, please use what you learned today to start researching and finding out a lot of information around about Zenith Bank, so that on that day when we have the call, you can ask all your questions and get all the clarity that you need. And if you have any questions around the research challenge, please feel free to send us an email. That should be all for today. Thank you so much, David, and have a great day and weekend, everyone.
All right, thank you, everybody. Take care. Take care. Thanks a lot to the CFA team. Wonderful work. Take care, guys. Hi, Yemi.
Thank you.
Seeing you.
Thank you.